Hello and welcome along to the Project Cars 2 Virtual Racing League in association with West Wales Karting, our partner and sponsor for the Virtual Racing League. West Wales Karting, of course, is situated in Pembrokeshire in southwest Wales at Haverfordwest on an airfield actually, but it's an indoor circuit as you can see on screen there, and a lot of the drivers who race in this league are very excited because it is back up and open now after the restrictions due to the pandemic, and the weekly 100 events and endurance events and all the other events that are organised there are back in full swing, and it's pretty exciting to see all the drivers back doing some real racing. Although of course tonight they're all focused on the virtual racing because it's the PS4 group continuing with their F-150 pickup truck challenge championship. As you can see on screen, that's the calendar. We've so far had the Mojave Coyote Moose Circuit, 3 10-minute races there. Red Bull Ring National, 3 10-minute races there. And tonight we've got the big one, Monza Short. I say it's the big one, it's because we've had some fantastic racing at Monza Short in this league previously, and with the championship, as you can see, being so close at the moment, and with very exciting racing so far in this championship, put that together and you can see why we're quite excited about this one. Luke McGee, the Scotsman, newcomer to the PS4 league, but has raced previously on the Xbox League and still races on the Xbox League, is leading the championship from Mike Gunnan and Stuart Davis at the moment, but it's all to play for here. So 3 10-minute races, the first one kicks off and you can see there the sun is setting, the lights are on, and it's away they go off the start, rolling start as ever, and it's Del Boy leading the way ahead of Stuart Davis and Mike. Monty MC almost in fourth, and coming together there. That's spinning round now, that's Mike Gunnan off in the green car. Monty is in the getting sandwiched between Del Boy and Luke McGee, and back is Stuart Davis. He was really involved in that. Stuart Davis in that stripy red and silver car. No, it's not a car, it's a truck. And he's away again now, but Mike Gunnan is even further behind. So this is absolutely fantastic news here for championship leader Luke McGee, because 2 of his main championship rivals are now 7th and 8th. So there's only 8 runners here tonight, and they're both last place, so they have to work together now to try and get back up. They can work together because it's a slipstream fest, as you can see here. And now coming up to the Parabolica, which is the last corner on this short circuit. Monty MC Momma's got the inside line there. He's in 3rd place at the moment, and he's trying to fend off Icebreaker, BDCC Dan as we know him in the Xbox League. But Icebreaker is very fast in these trucks as well. He had a few little outings, didn't he, at Austria, but he's going well here at the moment in 4th, and you can see him looking to make a move on Monty MC Momma, but it's Del Boy up there in 2nd. He's got some good pace as well. And joining me in the commentary box tonight is Ian. What do you make of that start, Ian?
Yeah, dream start for Luke McGee there. Cuts right to front straight away, and one of his main championship rivals is backwards into the first corner as we look at Monty and Icebreaker. Icebreaker goes well on these trucks, so if he can keep it pointing in the right direction, he could be on for a good result here as they come down to the back straight. It's all kind of settled down again for just now, but I'm sure it won't take long before there'll be more action.
Yeah, there's only a handful of corners here, of course. You've got Parabolica, turn 1, and you've got a couple of little turns then before leading onto the straight they're on now. But what is it that makes such good racing here? Is it the slipstreaming?
Yeah, there's a slipstreaming in the Parabolica as we're seeing them coming through that now, and it's just the tight first corner where you've got to be kind of, you're coming in and you're just kind of keep it tight through there and getting a good run onto the last onto the back straight. That gives you a bit of a slipstream and a bit of run on your opponents if you get it right. So if you get it hooked up, it's gives you a big advantage, as we're seeing them coming in here, just trying to gently into this corner so they can carry as much speed as they can and then get onto the back straight with as much momentum, as we see Stuart Davis recovering from his early off.
Yeah, and of course Mike Gunnan, we're looking at him now in the green machine. He had a really good pace at Austria. I think he won one of the races, but he was certainly up there battling for the lead in all 3, I think, from memory. My memory's not that great, so I might be wrong. But he's, I thought he was with Stuart Davis after the first coming together there, but it looks like he's lost even more time than Stuart did, so they're not even able to work together there. But Stuart now is closing up to the back of the pack. He's behind Matt, by the looks of it, who's battling with Pixie. Those 2 often find each other on track, so these 2 will be really looking at each other, battling each other. They're not going to care about Stuart Davis' championship challenge at this stage, are they?
No, certainly not. As you say, Mike won the first 2 races of the championship, and then it was a bit unfortunate at Austria, lost out in the first race, and was in the running. He's got good pace, but he's found himself at the back here as we see Matt and Pixie squaring up to each other into this first corner. Looks like it's going to be Pixie down the inside, and Stuart Davis out of shape there again, but it's neck and neck, and they've touched here. Oh dear. But no, they seem to have kept going. But yeah, it's going to be interesting with those two again.
Yeah, I was just about to say they're leaving each other plenty of room into turn one, but just as I was thinking that, they had a little trade of paint, and Mike there pushing too hard in the background scrubs the barrier. You can see he's really going for it, but he's now 16 seconds off the lead, and he's a good 10 seconds or so off this little scrap too. But if they carry on fighting the way they are, it could bring Mike back into it. Let's hope so. But of course there are another 2 10-minute races after this, and running wide there is Pixie, and it looks like Stuart Davis has got him now. So Stuart Davis on the inside, Pixie running very wide all over that curb there. I think with the camber the way it is, and obviously going onto the marbles, it just dragged Pixie way out wide there as he was trying to get back to the circuit. The circuit just carried on turning away from him, and he was trying to turn back on. And now Stuart Davis is going for a lunge down the inside of Matt there, and Matt leaves him room. Oh, but he's overcooked it, and Matt takes the position back, says thank you very much, you're not going to stop that truck very easily into there on the hardest braking point on the circuit.
Yeah, this the tightrope with these trucks is you're trying to carry as much speed and get the tail out bit to carry as much speed into that first corner, but you're also not wanting to lose and slide wide as 2 of them did there. So it's a balancing act to that first corner, and that's really kind of the crux of this. Is you're wanting to carry as much speed through that to get onto the back straight. So yeah, it's a tricky one there as we look at Stuart Davis coming through on Matt. Nicely done there, getting the tail out as well to try and just carry as much speed, but he's coming back on here, and as we cut to Loopy and Monty having a bit of a battle at the front here.
Yeah, Monty's got the inside line, it looks like, on Luke McGee. So Monty MC1, who was the champion of the Ginetta racing that we did, of course, he's super consistent in that. So far in the trucks, he's missed a round, didn't he? I think, if I'm right, Ian. Did he miss the last round at Austria?
Yeah, he missed the last round at Austria, but he got a win at Coyote, so he knows how to drive these trucks as well and get a win. He got a win in the last race at Coyote News, so he's knows how to win in these. And him and Loopy at the front seem to be a bit of a battle coming here as we've got Loopy now coming on Monty. It's going to be an interesting wee battle for the win here as you see them going into Parabolica. Just try to keep it tidy just now, but it'll be interesting as this develops.
Yeah, rising on board with Luke McGee, and he's staying with Monty. They're very evenly matched by the looks of it. Monty's pretty strong at this stage of the race, of course, but Luke McGee is really finding his feet with these trucks. He looks like he's firmly in the championship hunt here. A long way to go, of course, and he's thinking that too as he looks down the inside, but he's going for it anyway. He's looking down the inside there. Oh, very close. Thankfully, he managed to stop the truck in time before Monty turns into him. But of course, Monty's just taking the race line. Round the outside, now comes the inside, and Luke McGee's got the inside line, and they're both leaving each other enough room. Just about, look at that side-by-side action there. And Luke McGee's got the inside line now. Monty has got the outside, and it's a drag race now up to Parabolica. In the background, it looks like there's another drag race going on. Not sure who that is. It looks like it could be Icebreaker and Stuart Davis. But anyway, for the lead now is Luke McGee. He's got the inside line. What's Monty going to do? Is he going to try the cut back, or is he going to try and brave it round the outside? He's braving it round the outside. That is brave indeed. And Stuart Davis now has got the inside line on Icebreaker. What's going to happen here? Anything can happen here. They've both raced each other lots on the Xbox group as well, haven't they?
Yep, they sure have. Icebreaker Stuart taking the sort of inside line and trying to carry as much speed through there, but compromising on the outside. But it looks like he's just held it over Icebreaker as we see Monty and Loopy at the front just going at it. Monty going for the outside line again, Loopy trying to get up the inside, but then he kind of compromises himself on the out here. So we see as Monty comes round and we see Icebreaker coming into just going wide here as Stuart regains the position. So but yeah, it's the kind of balancing act at the front here as you see the Loopy in the lead with Monty falling behind. It's just going to be back and forth for a bit, I think.
Looks like it. Bryson now on board with Monty, having another look down the inside, and like you said, Ian, I think this is just going to go back and forth until the last lap unless they take each other out, and Delboy is someone who's going to be hoping they take each other out. You can see, look at that drift in action from Loopy, well held there. He's really got a grasp of these trucks and he knows how to handle them well by the looks of it, but Monty's super smooth and consistent as we've seen in the past, so this is a really good battle going on. Delboy's probably hoping that they do take each other out though, keeping a watching brief there in third place. He's got a nice little gap back to Stuart in fourth and Icebreaker in fifth. So Delboy's going well nicely here. He's just quietly going about his business as these two are stealing the show at the moment, and they're really going for it but leaving each other just enough room at the moment. But of course when it comes to crunch time, as we've seen in the past, that can all change.
Yeah, great racing at the front as we see them side by side, just giving each other enough room. But just a bit of a tight one there. But they both made it through, and great racing at the front. And Delboy just hanging back a bit, just to see what happens. As we see, here we go again.
Yeah, once again, there's Luke McGee holding the inside line, and we have to keep an eye on that timer because we often get distracted as commentators by the racing and forget which lap is last.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the back and forth as it has been. But there's Delboy carrying a lot of speed in the back there. But yeah, Monty got himself a bit of a gap at the front now, so we'll see how that holds as Icebreaker and Stuart come through the parabolica.
Yeah, Stu seems to have found a lot of speed at this track. He's going quite nicely. He's got race leading pace, and thankfully the race director's put final lap on the screen, so that's great news for us.
Always a good sign.
Yeah, but Mike, we're looking at Mike now, just making his way past Pixie, shaping him up for a pass as they go over the start-finish line into turn 1. And he has to be careful here on the brakes, really tricky not to take out Matt, who's just in front. And he's trying to hang Pixie out wide there, but Pixie's having none of it. He's sticking it around the outside, but he's going to find himself still on the outside if he doesn't close out Mike here. And Mike's staying in it, and just about leaving each other enough room. I think Mike's got through there, but this is it now. This is the real crunch of the race, and down the inside goes Loopy McGee. Yeah, Monty MC Momo thought he had it covered, and he didn't, and Loopy very forcefully gets his way back past there, down into Parabolica, and this means now that Monty's going to have to stay with him in the slipstream, but I think he's going to run out of time, because coming across the line now is Loopy McGee to take the win at race 1 here at Monza, and Monty MC Momo, those some great points there in second. Really good race between those two. Delboy in the end didn't quite have the pace of those two, but very good haul of points in third, and Stuart Davis a great comeback drive in fourth.
Yeah, it was great race between Monty and Loopy there, just back and forth the whole way, and it was just going to be whoever was there at the end, but Loopy got the win there, but great race between him and Monty, and Delboy gets third. Yeah,
fastest lap actually went to Stuart, so he had good pace, but of course a little bit of debate going on in turn 1 on lap 1, wasn't there, as to who had what space, and he got involved in that. But fourth, good haul of points, still in the championship battle. Mike Gunning though is going to be looking to make up some ground after that win in race 2.
Yeah, one of the joys of Monza is that first turn. It's just the compression's just there with everyone squabbling the places, so it always makes for a bit of excitement. So yeah, we'll see as the day goes on how what happens there. But yeah, looking forward to the next race.
Yeah, another one to watch might be Matt as well. He did quite well, and it's raining here at Monza at race 2. This could really throw everything in the mix. Oh, and really going backwards there is Matt off the start there. He got a lot of wheel spin, and Mike Gunning straight into the lead. But he's first now. He's going to have to hope that the field break as well and don't pile into him. And someone's piling into who's that? There's cars just lifting off the ground everywhere. The suspension's being worked on, and there's a big crash. That's Luke McGee, I think, was involved. Yes, he's facing the barrier. That's terrible news for Luke McGee, and Matt is involved, and Pixie, I think. Stuart Davis also involved. He's down there in 8th. Don't know what happened to Stuart, but he's all the way back. He's going to be up to 7th now, because Matt has an even worse start. But I was saying, as they headed into turn 1 there, they have to be careful where they brake, because there's a bit of an unknown where the braking's going to be into turn 1 on a completely wet circuit. And I think a couple of them got it a little bit wrong there.
Yeah, the wet start didn't help. It looked like Loopy just bounced his 2-ton truck straight up in the air and off the barriers, and then Pixie and Matt were unfortunately got collected, and then Matt got stuck behind Loopy as he was reversing. Disastrous start for Loopy in the championship, but the only thing good for him is Stuart Davis seems to have an even worse start.
Yeah, that's the one consolation, and it's almost complete reversal of the first race, because now we've got Mike all the way up there in first with a couple of his championship rivals back down, so you can see how close this championship really is. It's all changing all the time. This is Delboy now fighting away with Monty MC Momo very carefully, trying to size each other up because it's early days yet in this race, and side by side they go now onto the back straight, so it's going to be another drag race. We're going to see a lot of this in this race, as we did in the first one and the next one probably, but in the lead at the moment is Icebreaker trying to keep hold of Mike Gunning. Mike Gunning did have a lot of good pace in the dry. Let's see what he's got to show in the wet. Monty is consistent as ever at the moment, fighting away there with Delboy.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for Mike to get back in the championship running, because he had such a good first event and maybe didn't go his way in Austria, but this is a good opportunity for him to get back with Loopy and Stuart way down in the order. try to fight their way back up. But tricky conditions, and it could all change. An icebreaker is showing some good pace in these trucks, so still to play for. And Monty there in third too.
How tricky is it to drive these trucks in the wet? Because of course that long wheelbase, you have a big pendulum effect, don't you, once they start sliding?
You sure do, and a lot of the drivers gone for the loose setup, which helps them get around the corner, but in the rain does make them a bit leery, as the icebreaker is just perfectly demonstrating here. But it certainly helps you carry as much speed as through the corner, and that's the key thing here at Monza, is just carrying the speed onto the straights. You could go stable setup, but it doesn't give you allow you to carry speed the same, and then in the parabolica, so it's a kind of balancing act, and the rain will certainly be adding to that. But Mike and Icebreaker certainly seem to have got it right for now, so see how this goes. Another battle at the front.
Yeah, and we'll have to see who's got the pace here in the wet. Will the drivers have practiced much in the wet? Did they know this was coming?
Possibly. I think this is a random grid slot, so they wouldn't necessarily know how wet it was going to be, but I think they would know that there was a random weather slot coming, so they might have done some practice in the wet. But it's certainly very wet here as we look at Monty and Del Boy coming in and just try to get the braking right.
Yeah, that's the key thing, isn't it? It's getting your braking right in these conditions. It's easier said than done, especially when the visibility isn't that great. You're following another truck. You would think just following a truck on the motorway is bad enough, never mind when you're racing it at Monza. And even if it's just virtual racing, it's still tricky stuff. And Stuart Davis there on the controller, he'll have a little bit less input than the guys on the steering wheel, so that could make a difference for him too in the wet. We've seen some of the controller guys struggle in the past when it comes to wet conditions, but it looks like Stu at the moment is coping well enough with it, although he's back there in 7th, and he seems to be falling back a little bit from Lupi, although he did a faster lap the last time around. So it'd be interesting to see if those two ever fight each other on track in this race, because that could get really interesting in terms of the championship. But Pixie's not worried about that. He's going about his business in 5th at the moment, with his chief rival Matt back in 8th. I said at the start Matt could be one to watch. Well, I'd definitely put the curse on him here.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. I think he was very unfortunate with that turn 1 incident where there was a bit of a pile up and he was the one stuck right at the back, so a bit unlucky there. But yeah, working their way back now. But as you see, Mike and Icebreaker again at the front, just pulling away a bit. But yeah, they've got to tread carefully still in these conditions as onto the back straight. But yeah, definitely got pulled a bit of a gap. But Monty's still there in 3rd, and he's got good pace here, so yeah, be interested to see.
Yeah, Monty is absolutely flying. A 101.2 the last time around. It's only a couple of seconds off their dry weather pace, pretty much, isn't it? So Monty is really flying at the moment. He's a good second or so faster than the guys just up ahead, Mike and Icebreaker. And we've got another, well, looking at the timing there, we've got another 5 laps possibly out of this one, and he's only 3 seconds behind. So Monty is really in this one if he keeps up that pace.
Yep, sure is, and Del Boy just another second back. So yeah, so if you can keep the momentum, keep the rhythm, that's the key thing here. And Monty definitely seems to find that. So he's he'll be chipping away at the lead if he goes on like this.
Yeah, he wasn't quite so quick the last time around, and maybe it was a special lap he did, or maybe, I don't know, he found something special. But anyway, he's still staying with them, so it's all to play for. Del Boy as well is going quite nicely. Pixie at the moment is the slowest the last time around, anyway, out of the top 5. And Luke McGee could be putting him at the and off is Mike, the leader, Mike Gunnan. He's off in the barrier. What on earth happened? He's as I was looking at the timing screen, thinking that everything was quite settled, and the leader's just thrown it off the road in the barriers. Is terrible news for Mike, who was already on the back foot after race 1, and now he's already on the back foot again in race 2 because he's thrown away the lead, like very Vettel style actually that was, although he's still in the race, and he's back there in 5th now behind Pixie, and that means to say that Mike Gunnan, Luke McGee and Stuart Davis, 3 of the main championship protagonists, are all back there in 5th, 6th and 7th and off. And that's Pixie off in the barrier now. He's off in the gravel at Parabolica, and that's Stuart Davis running wide too. Has someone spilt some oil on the track? What on earth is going on?
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Mike just seemed to, when he was trying to carry speed onto the back straight, and he just seemed to lose control, and he's ended up head on into the barrier there. It's one of the trickiest parts of the course, so he's just being unfortunate there. Now we've got this championship battles. Loopy's going a bit wide too, and really swinging out there, trying to carry as much speed, but I think he's lost there. Stuart Davis trying the same thing. So I think as very nice. I think as the track's getting wetter as well, they're trying to adapt their style to it. So It's definitely seems to be all going off at the moment. As you see Stuart Davis in the background sliding on the back straight. But I think that's just where Mike came undone, and now we've got Icebreaker in the lead, and Mike's trying to recover, try to stay ahead of the two championship protagonists he's got behind him.
Well, this has really blown it wide open here, because Monty Msumomo, who missed a few races in the last round, is now up there in second, and of course Icebreaker as well leading at the moment, and now with Mike back there, this has really blown it wide open, the championship. Even though there's a long way to go, this could be crucial, and you can see them trying to do that Scandinavian flick, so rally style off as Monty in the barrier as well. They're really pushing hard, these drivers now, and Monty's lost a lot of time now to Icebreaker, so Icebreaker can afford to take it a little bit easier perhaps now, although I don't know if he's going to do that, because we know what he's like. Well, all of these drivers are just pushing, aren't they, as hard as they can. And Monty now is, he hasn't lost any positions, thankfully for him, but he has lost time to Icebreaker. Delboy is in third, just a few seconds back, and then we've got the chasing pack behind them. So Mike and Loopy are very close on the circuit at the moment. That could be a battle to watch.
Yeah, certainly will be, as Loopy will be keen to try and edge ahead of Mike with Stuart Davis just behind him. He'll be any opportunity to kind of stretch out that lead, but Monty a bit lucky there with going straight on with the barrier and managed to keep second, but he's certainly got good pace, but looks like that's enough race. And we see, is that Matt just spinning round there, so it's very treacherous out there just now.
Yeah, that looked like it was halfway down the straight. What on earth happened there?
Just coming out. I think he's just coming out. That last, we've seen a few instances coming out the corner onto the main straight. It's just very slippery there, and if you try to carry speed, but then you catch the grass and you can end up spinning round. As looks what's happened there, and kind of what happened to Mike earlier. So, very tricky corner.
And are these guys spinning up the wheels in what, third, fourth in these conditions?
Yeah, I think that's what they'll be. They'll be trying to take third, fourth onto that. You want to kind of keep the revs up, but at the same time, you don't want to kind of bog down on the straight and lose momentum, as we're seeing here with Loopy trying to get the slipstream on Mike. But it's very, very tricky at that corner, especially with if you look at this spray, it's getting worse and worse.
It does look it, doesn't it? You can ride on board now, it's good timing. You can really see that spray, you can see Loopy really fighting the wheel, and Stuart Davis really hasn't got the pace he did in race 1. He's not really made much of an impact in this one as we head towards the closing stages now, and Loopy McGee would really love to get another couple of points off Mike if he could, but Mike really does not want his misery to be compounded. It would just be salt in the wound if Loopy got past him now, because he's in fourth now as Mike, but at least he's ahead of Loopy McGee and Stuart Davis in terms of his championship. That's at least something. But now we're looking at the extremely fast cameraman running alongside the extremely fast Icebreaker with the extremely fast flames on his car, and you can see that he's about to collect the checkered flag as he heads up to Parabolica, as long as he doesn't throw it off the road now, which, anything could happen in this race. He could do, but for his sake, let's hope not. And coming into Parabolica now, braking hard, so you can see the weight of the truck getting transferred forwards, and looks almost like it's diving into the tarmac, but thankfully it isn't, and he gets on the throttle very gingerly now, and it looks like Monty Msumomo's not going to be able to catch him, so Icebreaker now, unless he drops it halfway down the straight, which I don't think he's going to. Nope, he hasn't. He's taken the checkered flag here. Great driving by Icebreaker, collecting that win. Monty kind of threw that one away, but Icebreaker was there to pick up the pieces, and Monty's second.
Yeah, definitely. Icebreaker's showing some good pace in these trucks at times. It's just keeping it pointing in the right direction. So now he's done that within the weather conditions. He's got a good win there. Monty, bit of a disappointment after his pace in the first race, and showing good pace in the second to come second. But still good points for him, and gets back to the championship hunt, and Delboy again in third. So good result there.
Yeah, and Pixie just ahead of Matt as well. We're looking at Matt now. Matt had a bit of a tricky one, didn't he, in those conditions? But he's going to get some points anyway for 8th position, and let's hope he does. Let's see how he goes in the next one. But you can see the fastest laps. It's all pretty close in the end, weren't they? I think Monty probably had the pace overall, but yeah, he couldn't keep it pointing straight all the time.
Yeah, I had an unfortunate one there into that turn there, and just gave Icebreaker the break he needed really to get going and win that race. But good pace from him in the 101s as well. So it's definitely all to play for, and it should be a very interesting last race.
And something to take note is Delboy there in third, once again, just quietly sneaking in there, podium position again, good points again. Yeah, he's certainly one to watch, going quietly about his business, and let's hope he stays out of trouble again. Let's hope they all stay out of trouble. It's dark, it's wet, it's slippery, and it's a rolling start, and it's Stuart Davis challenging Pixie for the lead as they go into turn 1. Dive in now, hard on the brakes down the inside, that's Delboy. He's down the inside of the yellow car. Incredible manoeuvre, Stuart Davis is involved in an accident with Icebreaker, the race 2 winner, and they're coming together, but I think they've all got through facing the right way, just about, yes, but now Icebreaker's making contact with Luke and McGee, and that's Monty Momo nearly throwing it off the road, but not quite. And you can see there's a thunderstorm at the moment, lightning lighting up the circuit. And it's Delboy who's leading from Pixie, from Mike Gunn, from Stuart Davis. Loopy McGee's in 5th ahead of Icebreaker as the lightning again strikes here at Monza. And Matt is back there in 7th, but he's ahead of Monty, who's had not a great start. And Pixie there is 2nd place. It's a great position for him. And the race leader Delboy is off the circuit there, and it's really close between the top 4 now, because you've got Delboy, Pixie challenging for the lead. Pixie, he's looking down the inside. This would be great for Pixie if he can grab the lead here. And Delboy, though, a very safe pair of hands. He'll know when is enough is enough, and whether to back out of it. But have they seen Mike there in the green car? He's got the brightest car here, and slightly coming together there. Pixie very forcefully takes the lead from Delboy. Fantastic manoeuvre there for Pixie. Delboy didn't see that one coming, I don't think, but he's still there in 3rd. Is third again for Delboy. Let's hope he can finish higher than that at some point. But Mike there back up in 2nd now. What is it about the leaders in these races? Oh, and off. Oh, it's Delboy. Delboy's off in the yellow car. Incredible. He's spinning it back round and just about... Oh, he collects someone. I think that's Matt he's collected, possibly. Oh, I don't know what's going on in the background. They're all having a go at each other. I think Monty also got involved in that. And, yeah, I don't know. There's a bit of slapstick comedy going on in the back. What do you make of that,
it was incredible. That was incredible. Monty, Delboy and Matt just... each coming round and turning, just spinning out and making a bit of contact, and then just spinning around at the back there. So that was a bit of a comical moment. But at the front, you've got Mike and Pixie. Great manoeuvre by Pixie to take the lead, but he's lost that to Mike now, and now Stuart Davis in 3rd, so he'll be wanting to make amends for having a tricky first race. As Loopy goes down on the inside, I know he's on the grass. Ooh, that was a bit of a tough pass there from Loopy on his championship rivals. So we'll see how that develops. But yeah, it was quite a tough race in there.
Yeah, absolutely crucial move for Loopy McGee there, getting past Stuart Davis. But Stuart Davis is called Mr. Lunge. Well, Loopy McGee outlunged him there by the looks of it. And Loopy McGee hasn't got a nickname yet, actually, I don't think. So maybe he'll be the new Mr. Lunge. But I think Stuart will be keen to get that that title back. As you can see there, the flashing lights of... is that Icebreaker in 5th? I think it is.
Yep, Icebreaker in 5th. Just keeping up as we see the two of the championship protagonists coming around here. Yes, she'll be desperate to make amends for that, after the last time around. So Loopy in the podium position just now, but can all change very quickly. Yeah,
it certainly can in these conditions as well. With that thunder and lightning, and the flashing lights going on with Icebreaker in the background. I bet Stuart's thinking, what on earth is happening? Is it a disco? Is it a thunderstorm? Or is it just the flashing lights of Icebreaker behind? And some of these drivers are more keen than others at flashing the lights, just to help distract the one in front, isn't it? And how much of an advantage do you think it is? How much do you think it really distracts?
It depends on the driver. Some people find it distracting, but when you've got the dark and the lightning as well, it's all going off anyway. So I don't think there'll be too many distractions with an extra flashing light. So I think everyone will be kind of used to it by now.
You can see riding on board there how dark it really is. Is it like that for the drivers here at night at Monza? Because it looked extremely dark there riding on board with, I think it was Loopy, possibly. But it was, picking out your braking zone, especially in these conditions, does look extremely tricky.
Yeah, luckily the sort of braking zones are in the sort of home straight, so it's a bit more lit up there. But it's still very tricky when you've got people in front of you, and you're trying to pick the right line as well, because you're trying to come in on the outside and cut in. But there's been a lot of overtaking up the inside, so it makes it very tricky. Just try to consistently get your pace.
Yeah, and you can see Mike now, he's leading the way, but look at Pixie. Oh, he's half a second away from Mike, so I don't know whether Mike made a mistake or Pixie's just got the pace. It looks like Pixie's got the pace, to be honest. So 102.4 the last time around, and he's genuinely contending for the lead here as Pixie. Fantastic stuff. But Mike, after throwing away potential win in race 2, he really doesn't want to throw another one away. And Pixie's thrown away podium almost here because he's on the grass. He got a little bit sideways, took a little bit of grass, but thankfully didn't lose too much time. But he has ceded now second place to Luke McGee. So Lukey's through now. Let's see if he can catch Mike or not, because that would be a fantastic scrap for the lead. And Stuart Davis now is in 4th in Pixie's mirrors, but Pixie is still holding up there in 3rd, and he's certainly got the pace. Normally, you'd have to say he's not got the pace to be up there in the top 3 unless there's some crashes or something, but he really has got the pace here today, and Stuart Davis knows it too. It's going to be very tricky for Stuart to find his way onto a podium position here unless there's some sort of accident up ahead. And Del Boy, after being Mr. Consistent in race 1 and race 2, he's finding himself down in 6th, so now he really has to take some chances if he wants to try and get past Icebreaker, whilst also simultaneously holding off Monty. So it's really tricky to be attacking and defending, especially in these conditions.
Yeah, it sure is. Pixie's showing some great pace here, and just a bit unfortunate there, but it looks like he's trying to come back because it's going, but not this time. But yeah, he's definitely showing some great pace here, and he's hard on Loopy there, so it's not over yet.
Certainly isn't, and look at this, it's fantastic here. Look, she's really under pressure here from Pixie, and Pixie is just all over him like a bad rash. But now Stuart Davis is coming, he's spotted an opportunity, and Pixie's going to be boxed in here, because if he moves right, he's got Stuart there, so he can't move right. And Luke McGee very wisely goes to the inside to defend, and he gets a bit squirrely though on the brakes. He just about holds it, I think. Look at the trucks drifting through there. It's almost like a drift championship rather than a racing championship. And they're all very well held. There's really good skill going on between those 3 drivers. And Pixie's really in the thick of it though. And look at this as well. This is another good scrap going on. Monty makes slight contact with the Icebreaker's rear end of the track, and he's lost a little bit of momentum now. But he's managing to stay just ahead of Del Boy. I think Del Boy was ahead of him before, possibly. So Del Boy's maybe lost a position there, back to 7th, with Matt, of course, still back there in 8th at the moment. But anything can still happen here. We've got another few more laps to go. And Pixie now is in 2nd. Luke McGee's down to 4th by the looks of it.
Yep, something's happened there. Loopy's dropped back, and we've got Pixie back up in 2nd. But here's Stuart Davis now want to take his chances. Again, it's very tight between these 3. It's good racing. So we've got Del Boy, Monty again coming through Parabolica, but getting a bit close here. But interesting between them all as we see Pixie now. Bit of wide line out there, so Loopy's up the inside, and it's going to be tight between these 2. And looks like he's just got himself ahead of Loopy there.
Yeah, Stuart Davis is really taking advantage here, but look at this, Del Boy now, he's back past both of them. This is great racing between these 2. He's outbraked himself though, and he's left himself open to attack now, and I think slicing through there is Icebreaker, and now Monty is trying to get back through as well. He's down the inside, just about leaving each other enough room. This is really tricky, as you said earlier, Ian, going onto that straight. To go side by side as well in these conditions, even trickier. And Mike, though, looks like he's cruising out in front, but we've seen this before, so let's hope for his sake he doesn't throw it away this time.
Yeah, it's a strong position for Mike, but anything can happen. And we see someone else going off in the background, so yeah, anything can happen here. But solid 4-second lead from Mike at the moment, as Stuart Davis and Loopy just falling behind, as we see Del Boy and Icebreaker and Monty just swap around here. It's very interesting battle at the back here too.
Yeah, for 5th, 6th and 7th positions, of course. And halfway down the straight, he just catches the grass, does Monty, and it drags him into the barrier. He really had to get out of it, and there's Icebreaker coming back past, but Monty's got the inside though, and they make contact, they trade paint. And around, Icebreaker's round. He's facing the wrong way, but he gets going pretty quickly again, lights up the rears, and he's away again. There's a cameraman there on the inside getting a good shot. And he's back in 7th though, but Del Boy and Monty are still battling away by the looks of it. Mike! Oh my god, Mike, what's he doing? The leader! He's round! What is happening here? And he's just about avoid the cars coming through. This is incredible. And Stuart Davis is now leading just ahead of Luke McGee. Pixie's on the podium in 3rd. I can't believe it. Mike is off again in the background, isn't he? Who's that? No,
yeah, that was
sorry.
Yeah, it was Mike. It was Mike. Just kind of. It was Mike. Mike came in at that corner and just seemed to bog down on the grass and just spun around twice there and just lost all momentum. And then you had Stuart and Loopy coming in, but it's just so unlucky for Mike. It just shows you what the conditions can do to you. And just disaster for Mike in the championship as well. He's still hanging on fourth, but it's all gone wrong for him there.
Yeah, it's all about taking your chances, isn't it? And like you say, it's so easy to do, though. I mean, these drivers are absolutely living on their wits, and even if it's just a game, they're really the focus required to keep these things pointing in the straight lines. And look at this, Luke McGee going into the blackness down the inside of Parabolica on his arch rival for the championship, Stuart Davis. I mean, that is very tricky doing that. And of course, lulled in with a false sense of security perhaps as well. Mike leading the race by so much, and just caught him out once again. But really unfortunate. And these things can decide the championship and will decide the championship, unfortunately. But Stuart Davis looks like he's taking full advantage, and he's taking the win here just ahead of Luke McGee. Great racing between all those three, and a fantastic podium by Pixie. He really had the pace in that one. Could have been even better than the podium, that one.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly had the pace to be right up the front there, and good podium for him. But could have been more. But he'll be happy with that, all things considered. And here's Icebreaker coming in, just rolling himself over the line there, entertaining the crowds as always. So yeah, as an interesting finish. And Monty, slightly disappointing for Monty. You're coming in fifth. Maybe he definitely had the pace to be further up, but fifth still solid position for him. So he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, and Matt as well is going to be getting some good points by the looks of it too, ahead of Delboy actually. So Matt's got ahead of Delboy and is that right? I don't know. Yeah, I think it is actually ahead of Delboy. So Mike,
just in sixth
didn't
there.
finish.
No, he dropped down to 8th, and then just seems to have dropped off the leaderboard there. So very unfortunate from a championship point of view, and certainly puts a different complexion on things with Stuart and Loopy in first and second.
Yeah, well, we need the green machine up there fighting away, so let's hope Mike has better to luck in future rounds. There's a long way to go in this championship, but Luke McGee is leading the way after some really good points and very good driving, and you see the skill on display there from Loopy, leading the way in the wet conditions too, and knowing when to go on the attack and when to defend. That's put him ahead of Stuart Davis, who's the champion from the last championship that we did. So he's on 59 points, and he's 9 points ahead of Mike Gunn in there. So Mike is really still in this championship, so you really can't write him off. Yeah, and so Monty MC Momo as well, despite missing the round, he's got 41 points. He's way up there. Icebreaker on 38 as well. He's not out of it either. And then the midfield is extremely close too, with Delboy down there and Pixie as well. So really is all to play for still in this championship, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah, sure is, Monty. It's a good lead for Loopy there, but Stuart Davis will have plenty of opportunity to reel him in, and Monty sitting there in fourth is it's not out of it either, and Michael just hoping to try and make amends in the future rounds.
Absolutely, yeah. So don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.